Ladies and gents, this is my 2024 StarCraft 2 unit tier list post-patch. Just trying to assess where we're at now after they changed a bunch of stuff. New patch, new maps. It's very exciting that the Zerg Cabal has been working so hard to make sure we have a great patch. I've been struggling against Protoss recently, so let's just take it from the top here. I'm going to go with my gut instinct with stuff. If you think a unit should be at a different tier, feel free to share about that. Adept is an S tier unit. I die to it all the time. It's a very high skill unit. The shade ability is very flexible. You can juke a lot. These just destroy workers. It's not a late game unit, but in the early game for what it is, it's an amazing unit. Archon, I would say it's a A tier unit. It feels dealable, but once it gets a critical mass, you're kind of dead. You might actually put that in S. It's just really good. It counters a lot of Zerg because they do plus to biological in general. So for me as a Zerg player, this is probably a scarier unit than if I was a Terran or a Protoss. The carrier, be an S tier unit for sure. Just deals a crap ton of damage. If they get a critical mass of these, it's going to be tough. Colossus, let's go A tier. They're really good at their specialty. Getting 4 or 5 of them, they're pretty solid. But they're counterable by Viper and Roach and stuff, so they don't feel super oppressive. Dark Templar, I would say they're a B tier unit in the sense that they can't really take direct fights. They do require the element of surprise. If you have detection against them, they don't trade well against a lot of things. But they're definitely a force to be reckoned with. They also delay your storm timing because they're kind of in a similar spot of the tech tree. So you're more likely to have to make Archons rather than start making High Templar. The Disruptor got changed. To me, the new Disruptor seems worse because it doesn't one-shot Roaches and Ravagers anymore. So, yeah, I've almost never seen this unit used against me. There's only one player who's used Disruptor against me in the new patch. High Templar, oh my god. This unit got immensely better because of the patch due to the batteries having more stuff. You can now give them a whole bunch of energy, so they're just storms for days now. Most Protoss, the game flow is do some like 2-ish base pressure, either Oracle pressure or Adept pressure, and then turtle on 4 base of Storm. And so you get to critical mass of Immortal Archon or carriers. Immortal is an S tier unit. That's very good. Trades super well. Anti-armor specialist, but they're really tanky and durable in general. Once you get like 8 of these in an army, it's just horrifying to fight against a ground army. The mothership got reworked. It's now immune to being abducted. It's very expensive and very far up the tech tree, but it has a lot of cool abilities, so I'll put it at A tier. The Observer is really good. It's a passive unit. Doesn't really hurt people though, so I'll put it at B tier. Does its job. Oracle's S tier unit. Very high skill expression. Again, follows in that pattern of it's now way stronger because of the shield battery change. Phoenix. I would say this is a C tier unit, specifically because it's very specialized and you don't really mix it in randomly with other armies. You have to like commit hard to Phoenix if you're going to make them, and it makes a different kind of game. And as a Zerg, it's I haven't seen a mass Phoenix player in a while, we'll say. Probe is S tier. Sentry is the B tier. You can scout with it, which is good. It doesn't trade well in direct fights, but it provides good support spells. They're countered by Ravager, though. Stalker is an S tier unit. Tempest is good. They buffed it somewhat. I would say it's a B tier unit. No, it's a B tier unit in the late game. Fills an important role. Void Ray, that's an A tier unit. It's pretty good. War Prism is S tier. Zealot is S tier. Banshee is an A tier unit. Just 2 Banshees in the hands of a really good player is definitely something to be respected. BC, this is an A tier unit. It can teleport all the way across the map. It can one-shot your queens with Yamato. Queens are now more expensive after the patch. You can repair these over time, but it is kind of a gimmicky unit. Maybe B tier. If you just get ahead and have corruptors and stuff, mass BC isn't really doable. Oh god, the new Cyclone. It's pretty scary. I think it's either S or A tier right now. It just feels like it trades really well. And the first Cyclone attack, if a Terran goes for 2 factories and blue Flame Hellions and Cyclones, it's gnarly to deal with. Ghost is S tier. We're kind of saturating the S tier too much. We might balance it out a little bit, kind of drag the whole thing down. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Yeah. Okay. Archon's clunky. They can't fit through stuff sometimes. Stalker is good, but you can't really win the game with it on its own unless you're a micro god. Okay. Hellions, definitely a solid unit. Helps Terran get ahead with getting worker kills. The Liberator, I think it's B tier. It trades kind of shitty against air units, so I'm not really scared if I have Corruptor access. But it's definitely very good for harass. Very good for harass. Marauder, that's a good unit. Solid, you mix it in. Marine is S tier. Medivac is S tier just for the speed. Mule is S tier. Raven is C tier. It doesn't attack stuff. It has some powerful spells. People don't make it that often. So against Zerg, it doesn't really feel particularly crucial. Reaper is A tier. It has its time. It's pretty strong. Really depends on the player. SCVs. Did you know SCVs can repair Hellbats? And they can also be healed. Tanks are A tier. They feel counterable, but they're very strong at what they do. Thors are also A tier. Vikings are B tier. They're pretty flimsy. They do their job well, but if they're fighting against a unit that they're not good against, they're very countered. Very flimsy. Put Widowmines at B tier. They've nerfed these a few times. It just gets... It's harder to access the fully kitted out Widowmine than it was in previous patches. Moving around drilling claws is something they've experimented with a lot. Baneling, we're to Zerg units, hooray. Baneling is one of our S tier units. It puts Broodling here, really? What? It's a Broodling. I don't know what you want me to say. Broodlords, yay! Changeling. Ooh. The secret S tier unit that no one suspected. Corruptors. They're fine. They do their job. They fill their role. But you're not like, yeah, Corruptors. Drone is our most important unit. Hydras got buffed, so they were probably a D or E tier unit, but now they're probably more like this. Oh my god. Look how you massacred my boy. Larva? Why does it have a larva on here? Larva is not going to fight anybody. It's important though, like you can make stuff with it, but it dies to corrosive bile. One Baneling would kill a larva. If it's off creep, it dies. It's very fragile, but it could turn into a drone or something else amazing. It shows a Swarm Host Locust. Why are you here? Swarm Hosts are poopy doopy. Let's just make sure they go down here. Poopy doopy. Ultras, new Ultras. They seem pretty good. Not amazing, but they seem pretty good. Roaches. A tier unit, quite good. But they have their downsides. Ravager here. Queen, oof, the cost change. They were S tier for me. Lurkers, I think we need to make now because of the Hydra change, but they feel really clunky to use. I haven't practiced Lurkers as much with the new keyboard setup. So, yeah. What else we got? Mutas. Muta's pretty rare. C tier, maybe. They have their niche if you go for a base race kind of style. Overlords you have to make. It's kind of nice that your supply buildings can go around and do stuff. Overseer, quite strong. Put the Overlord at C tier. I don't know why it's in here. This tier list has Larva and Overlords and Locusts. Ooh, Vipers. That's a good unit. Ooh, Zerglings. That's a good unit. Okay. Terran units are pretty good. I didn't put any Terran unit below C tier. And the only one that's at C tier is the Raven. Interesting. I did this with no prep. This is just my instinct reaction. This is a Broodling and a Tempest. Adepts have always been strong. The energy units from Protoss got bumped up. I think these would have been S tier before. Some people would have put Oracle at A tier before. Broodling better than Broodlord? Yeah. Well. Yeah. They come out of other buildings too. What do you think? Are there any units you would put way higher or way lower? Let me know.